undefeated versus undefeated this weekend. Conor Benn headlining, but just throwing a fastball your way, man. Is there any disgrace attached to the main event because he isn't cleared? He hasn't been cleared as recently as November. To Conor Benn.
Of course he's cleared.
Well, but they didn't. The British Board of Boxing, they didn't allow the fight to happen in November.
But he's cleared. You got to do your research.
Yeah.
He went before the British Boxing Board of Control, UKAD, and won the case. So he was suspended, and they turned around and they said, "You've won the case. We have to lift your suspension. You are no longer suspended, which means you are cleared to fight." So I don't know what you're talking about. He's cleared to fight anywhere in the world, but the British Boxing Board of Control said, "We're not going to allow you to fight." There's an appeal coming in February, but Las Vegas commission. You're not talking about a commission like, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of nowhere that we've just randomly flown to allow him to fight. There is not one commission in the world that would not allow Conor Benn to fight, other than the British Boxing Board of Control, who have a bee in their bonnet because they lost the case. And some people like you have got this thing in their mind where it's like, yeah, but he's not cleared. What planet are you living on? I'm not sure, Sean, but like when you win a case and your suspension is lifted, what do you think you are? You're cleared. That's why the ABC, that's why every commission in America will allow Conor Benn to fight. You know why they do it? Because they email the British Boxing Board of Control and say, "Is Conor Benn cleared to fight?" And the board go, well, yeah, he won his case and he's no longer suspended. That's all we need to know. He's cleared to fight. Thank you very much. So we're hoping in time, egos will subside and Conor Benn will return. Don't forget, in a couple of months' time, it's 2 years since this happened. The whole thing is madness. So, luckily for Conor, he headlines in Las Vegas. It's the first time I've ever promoted a show in Las Vegas with a Brit headlining. And I'm delighted for the kid. I think you guys have seen him before, but you will love him.
The program will begin in 10 minutes. The program will begin in 10 minutes. Thank you.
What was the things they had to do to clear him? Because I know
have a trial. I mean, he's had 2 trials now. One was with the WBC, of course, because one of the tests was through the WBC boxing program. So they were the ones who said, you have to come before us. He went through that process. They cleared him. Everyone in the UK, don't forget, the UK generally only acknowledges UKAD testing. He had 4 UKAD tests throughout his whole camp. He passed every one of them. But, strangely, the board turned around and said, no, you must come before UKAD and the British Boxing Board of Control. Now, at that point, he didn't even have a license. So he could have quite clearly gone, no, I don't have to come before you. But the public uproar was so much, he said, I will go and have my hearing with the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD. And he won the hearing. So they had to lift the suspension. And by lifting the suspension under the British Boxing Board of Control rules, you are cleared to fight. Now, there's never been an occasion where the British Boxing Board of Control, when a fighter suspension is lifted, have ever said, we're still not letting you fight. That's what they did, which we can't control because they want an appeal, which has now taken 5 months, which we've finally got a date for. And when he wins that appeal, unfortunately, they will have to say, shit, we have to let you fight.
What's the process? Was it like, because I'm not privy to what they did. Was it like a B sample test, or was it
all the information? Everything that was asked to be presented by Conor Benn was presented. So I wasn't on that in that hearing. I don't know all the documents that were, but you have to go and answer all the questions from, in that case, the WBC, UKAD, the British Boxing Board of Control. And he did that. And he did, don't forget, he wasn't licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control and still chose to go in front of them and won. So I don't know what more you can keep doing, but sooner or later, whatever you think, after 2 years, at what point do you just say, fuck, he's done everything that's been asked of him, but this is an important fight for him because there's a lot of emotion. You've seen, I don't know if you saw his Ariel Helwani interview, it's a bit close to fight night to be breaking down and stuff like that, but this is an emotional kid. You will love watching this kid. He will go in there on Saturday, and by the way, he needs to destroy Dobson, because we can't sit here and talk about Crawford and Boots and then you go and struggle against Peter Dobson, who's a good fighter, 15, 16, light middleweight, but nowhere near the levels of the names that we're talking about. So You will really enjoy when that bell goes on Saturday.
Eddie, you had a surprise announcement the other night at the post-fight press conference for Munguia versus Ryder. You mentioned that you're hoping to make Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia this week. Do you have any updates on that?
No, I'm seeing Bill today. I think that's the fight for everybody.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
definitely the fight for DAZN. It's definitely the fight for Devin. Is it the right fight for Ryan? We'll find out. But, Ryan wants massive fights. Ryan wants big paydays. When you look at the landscape, who else are they going to fight? And they could fight Javonte, but Ryan's obviously fought him. Devin, Bill's ruffling up everybody the wrong way. So I just don't think those fights are going to get made right now. I think there's an opportunity to sit down and make that fight very quickly. But Ryan will have his opinion of his value in the fight and his value of probably a split in the fight that Devin Haney probably won't agree to. It's just the case if they can come to an arrangement where everyone, but I will be urging Devin to take that fight, not at any price, but definitely, what a great fight for him.
What did you think of how that all unfolded? He was going to fight Romero, well, he wanted to, and then Romero winds up fighting Cruz, and just how that all played out.
So Ryan messaged me I don't know, a month ago and said, I want to fight Devin Haney. I just want you to know I'm taking that fight. And I was over the moon. And then obviously he's with Floyd and these kind of people that said, listen, Devin Haney's a fucking tough fight. You should fight Rowley. Which, that's definitely the right thing to do, by the way, unless you really believe in yourself and you're chasing legacy against the best. And I was disappointed when that happened. Obviously, then they couldn't do the deal with Rowley. So he's back. Who's he going to fight? We've got 140 pounders for him to fight. We've got Regis, we've got Paro, we've got these guys. Golden Boy have got Ramirez, Barboza.
Ladies and
But
gentlemen,
Ryan doesn't want
the
those
press
kind of fights. He wants a
conference
big
will begin
pay-per-view.
in
So if you want a big
minutes.
pay-per-view, you
Press
need to
conference
fight
going
a
live
big name,
in
and that's
5
Devin Haney.
minutes.
Then he came back to me and said, look, let's start again. So now these guys are talking. I'm catching up with Bill. Obviously, from a DAZN perspective, we're all on board. We want it to happen.
Eddie, what do you make of the comments then? Obviously, if Ryan's hitting you up to make the fight happen, why is his own promoter saying that you have no business or dealings
I'm not
with
negotiating with Ryan. We're just talking as mates.
Right.
And Oscar likes putting little sly digs out there and stuff like that. We don't have to be involved in the fight. We have an option with Devin Haney, which we'd love to exercise, and we want to work with him. He's, I think, pound for pound, one of the top fighters in the world, and we've done a great job with him. I want to be involved in that fight, and I want to see him win. But if not, I don't. Listen, if it's on DAZN, I don't have to be up there with Oscar. For him, it might be more of an ego thing. I'm happy to sit in the back. I don't care. I want that fight to happen for the platform. Because you've got all these big fights on DAZN. They've just announced Fury Usyk worldwide on DAZN as well. If we can get Haney, Garcia, if we can make some big fights, it's great for us. So, yeah, Oscar talks about, I want to work with all promoters, and then, I'm not so sure. But
Now,
I don't care. I just want Devin to get the fight.
I wanted to circle back just because of how the interview started. You gave us basically an update and a rundown on what's been going on with Conor, obviously outside of the ring. Can you give us one on Alycia Baumgardner? We've heard the WBC and the WBO, I believe, have cleared it. Where can you tell us as her promoter? I know she still has a fight, I believe, under Matchroom.
For us, she's done a great job to go out there and fight her name. The most frustrating thing about Alicia's position is the commission haven't acted. You see, normally the commission will make their decision, and then you will go to the governing bodies to, put your case across. Because that decision hasn't been forthcoming from the commission, she has had to individually go to all the governing bodies to prove her innocence. She won her case with the WBC, she won her case with the WBO. We'll see what the WBA and IBF, but they're likely to follow suit, and we hope that the commission also look at the facts that are presented and treat her fairly. But it's been 6 months now, 7 months now, and it's time for her to resume her career.
Absolutely.
But until the commission make their decision, it's hard for her to do that.
So I'm glad you brought that up because obviously that happened in July. I think September, October, I checked, they didn't even have a fucking commission. The Michigan,
they have a commission, and we, I think sometimes, Alycia might feel that, what are we doing or waiting? We're waiting and speaking to the commission for them to act, because whilst they don't act, it's difficult for her to fight in the US. Now what she's done very effectively is to put the pressure on them and win those cases with the individual governing bodies to make sure that she keeps her belts and she's ready to defend them. So, you know, she wants a decision as well. She believes she's proved her innocence and she's ready to fight. So hopefully the commission will make their decision soon and she can resume her career and defend their undisputed championships.
So as
Thanks, guys.
thank you, Eddie.
Family, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.